And what's going on, everybody? I'm your host this week for the Marvelite podcast. It's me, Will. And with me, I have my regular co-host, Luke.
What a dooski, fam.
You're not a Michael.
I'm not a Michael. No, I'm filling in for Michael. Not really. I'm just kind of stealing. I'm stealing his phrase.
But dude. Let's get to our kind of. It's half topic, half news. It's a mix. So apparently one of the Russo brothers came out and said that Infinity War will have more humor in it than Civil War did. And I think the topic that I'm kind of spinning out from that is, does Marvel use humor too much? And this is something that's come up a lot recently. Like as time goes on and people get a little bit more self-aware about their superhero movies and kind of the whole thing of Marvel jokes and the Marvel style of kind of sarcastic humor. And it's not really a yes no answer, but I think sometimes they try to offset serious moments with humor, and I really don't like it, because I remember they did it in Ragnarok and it bothered me. And that was one of the issues that one of my friends had with Ragnarok, was it had too much humor.
Okay. So, first things first, I think that what the Russos were saying, I think that it was a troll. No, seriously, I think that they like doing that to people. I don't think, like, it's going to have its humorous moments, especially with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and all that, but,
yeah.
I don't see it being a comedy. You know what I mean? I just don't see it being a comedy. I don't, honestly. I think that, humor in movies is a good thing, even if it's not a humorous movie. I mean, like, look at It, for example, the new film. Mm-hmm. There was some really funny moments in that film, and it was supposed to be a horror film. Like a suspense thriller, but the jokes and the humor were implemented correctly, and it worked. And, to use some examples like Thor, with Thor Ragnarok, I think that some of the humor was offset. Now you want to talk about, like, the most famous example I think in the MCU is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yes.
Oh my God, some of that humor was just terrible.
Like and I like that Marvel has moments of levity. I think that's really important in a film, to sometimes offset serious moments. But I remember the scene where they're about to collide with their giant with their giant Guardian stands between Ego and Star-Lord, and he turned his into Pac-Man, and I'm like, that
threw me out of the movie.
Yeah, I'm like, that was lame. Just to kind of subvert expectation for a kind of joke. I'm like, that was weak. Or in Ragnarok, when Ragnarok happened and Asgard was destroyed, and they just stand there in silence, like their entire livelihood gone. And Korg is standing off to the side, like, well, maybe we can rebuild. And then you just see it explode. He's like, oh, nope, it's gone. I'm like, you should not have added that. You should have let that moment just
I feel
sit.
like that should have been... I feel like that should have been a very deep moment.
That should have. Because, regardless of whether or not you kind of enjoy the Thor movies to various successes, imagine... Because Thor and his friends are thousands of years old. This is a community that's been, thriving. And they've just lived here for thousands of years. And they watch it get destroyed by this giant fiery demon god. And it's just like, oh yeah, I mean, we can build it back. And I'm like, I think you could have cut it after that. And just had him not say shit.
Yeah.
Or the one that does actually get, and I've talked about it before, is Iron Man 3, where they keep making jokes when Tony's having, breakdowns because of his PTSD. I'm like, that is not fun.
No.
I've had a traumatic experience before where, I had a brief mental, breakdown during PTSD. People were not making jokes. That is not a fun thing. Even if he's, a little kid. People are confused than anything. Just be like, oh, now what's wrong with the old man? I'm like, that's not funny. That's not funny, Marvel. So I think, usually it works, but when it falls flat, it, falls hard.
Yeah, it does, dude. And it's really unfortunate, too. I think that's why you have a lot of people on the internet who are like, the DCEU is superior to Marvel because they actually take their characters seriously and it's not filled with jokes all the time, man.
It's like, no, the DC universe fails for different reasons, and that has to do with, like, not even the joke stuff, it's like symbolism. And, like, we were talking about before, how
like,
the really bad shit where Zack Snyder had, like, terrible framing of women in his shots.
Justice League went straight Super Friends at the end of the film.
The 2-minute ass shot of Gal Gadot, well, not 2 minutes, but it was like a solid 10 to 15 second hold before she talked to Victor Stone. I'm like, okay, Zack Snyder directed that, or how the Amazons didn't dress like warriors anymore, and all their navels were exposed. I'm like, Zack directed that too. Like, not to harp on DC too much, because Marvel certainly has flaws of its own, and we're talking about it here, but still, like, everybody has fuck-ups.
Pretty much, yeah. But, I think that, moving forward with Phase 4, I just think that they need to focus more on... They need to focus more on character and story, and how to implement, like, things that they could improve on, I guess is what I'm trying to say. These are things that they can improve on. Definitely focusing on character more, focusing on, tightening up their arcs more, and having a good beginning, middle, and end for every single character. Because, a lot of the characters, whether they're villain or hero or side character, just don't have proper arcs. And thirdly, they need to get their humor down in a script, and not have it be so, jarring and all over the place, and it's just off-putting half the time. I will say that some of the comedy and levity in Doctor Strange did actually work pretty well.
I was going to mention, like, the Wi-Fi joke is actually a pretty solid joke.
Actually, the best joke was the whole doctor joke with him and Caecilius. The Mr. Doctor or whatever, that was like perfect.
Yeah, like that was like I think the humor works best if it's like if it's not tense and it's more in a like conversational context. Like the as corny as it was, and it does kind of pull you out just because it's dated, is the "what are those" joke from Black Panther, which I laughed at it because it was corny and it was a little dated, but I'm like, that one can kind of slide past because it's more the context of it fits better.
You know what the biggest joke of Black Panther was, right?
Colonizer, you scared me.
No, it was the damn battle rhinos.
Oh yeah. Which when I went back and saw it, I'm like, they did introduce the rhinos earlier, and I completely missed it. But they were there for like a 5-minute conversation. Yeah, the battle rhinos.
That was the biggest. That was the biggest and worst joke of Black Panther.
They just blow a horn. It's like, oh no, they are coming, and the fucking rhinos come over the hill. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. When did they start riding rhinos in the battle? I know they had a rhino farm, but shit. Oh my god.
You know that fight where T'Challa was fighting M'Baku? Someone pointed out online, and I kind of noticed this, and I'm like, yeah, that does make sense. Why did the Jabari tribe just kind of like wait in a little hole in a cave to make their presence known to challenge T'Challa right at the last second?
Oh, yeah, why did they wait till the last minute?
Like, did they just show up before everyone else and just go and hide in that little hole?
I mean, they live on a mountain, so maybe it took them a minute to get there. I don't know. I'm not trying to like randomly make excuses.
Why wouldn't they be there from the beginning? Because like you can clearly see the other 4 tribes are there. I don't understand why the Jabari tribe, like if they were already planning to challenge the throne, why didn't they just be there?
You would think they'd be like the first people to show up. Yeah, I don't know what took them so long. I guess it's a really long trip from the mountain, and like the email was slow that day. The dial-up was acting up. It's like, oh shit, it is challenge day. We have to get down to the river.
Yeah.
Then out they come like the fucking Q dogs.
Oh man, that was just silly.
Yeah, but you want to go into questions?
Yeah, let's go into questions.
All right, because we do want to know people's thoughts. I mean, do you guys think Marvel uses jokes a little too much? I think they're getting better at it over time. But I agree with what you said about having to balance it. They really need to focus more on stories and character arcs. I think they've been improving. Been doing good progress. I think they can get a lot better. So Luke, where can people find you on social media?
Yo, you guys can find me on Twitter at QuantumXParadox.
And you can find me on my own personal YouTube channel at Will the Greatest. This has been episode 1 something. I think 123, 124. One of those numbers. I'm forgetting right now. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. Don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section below so we can chat with the hashtag AskMarvelite. We will see you guys next week. Peace.